Hello everyone, welcome back to the shed. This isn't a pre-order, but I decided to get one anyway. It's the new Class 88 bi-mode by Dapol, exclusive to Rails. Let's get it open. Yeah, I didn't pre-order this. I was on the fence for a long while and then they just suddenly released. Such is Dapol, they don't usually make a song and dance of we're going to release it then, here, then. Just sort of expect it around this quarter. And it may or may not turn up in that quarter. I mean, I've had a GBRF 59 on pre-order for about 2 or 3 years now, and it still hasn't turned up, still hasn't released. They're meant to be in batch 2 of the 59s. I don't know when that is. Later this year? I don't even know if it will come out there later this year. It's ridiculous. Anyway. The Class 88, it's essentially a bi-mode version of the 68, the real thing sharing 70% of the same components, because the two locomotives were developed alongside each other. As you can tell by the title, I've gone with 88007 Electra. I did think about Aurora, but just because of the name, really like the name. But the livery, I'm not a massive fan of it, and I'm not going to be running this on a intermodal. I'm going to be running it mostly on nuclear flasks with a 68. Okay, so in the packaging there are plastic cradles for the bogie, which is fine, it keeps it held in place even further than it would be otherwise. Before I put the ice cube away, there we go, we have a detail pack, I think. Oh no, I won't have to open. Okay. The detail pack includes different front skirts, lots of brake piping, the other NEM tension lock coupler. I think that's pretty much it in there. I think they are alternate skirts, so if we take a look at the front of the model, it will probably reveal what I'm suspecting. It's a lot of loose ballast being statically stuck to the ice cube. And before I put the lid away, I want to point out something else as well. So let's look at that. We'll have a look at the manual in just a moment. And let's have a look at the end of the box. So here's the product code and all the info. Now this sticker on the end is actually put over a different sticker, because at some point in development the, how would you call it, the specs of the model were changed. So here it says DCC fitted Plux 22. Beneath that you can see DCC ready 21 pin. I much would have preferred a 21 pin. I know Plux 22 is nice and easy to fit. It's essentially the same thing. I'm not sure why Plux 22 and Next 18s are becoming the new standard. Maybe just because they have more functions than say an 8 pin, but then a 21 pin does the job. Maybe they're slightly smaller than a 21 pin. Anyway, and the radius. The minimum radius on the sticker beneath this says first radius, and this one says second, which is far more realistic. I'd also like to point out, I did not order a DCC fitted model, so this is wrong. This should be DCC ready. In ordering the DCC ready version, I have opted to have a model that does not have a servo to move the pantograph up and down, which is fine. As you can see, there's no overhead electric on this layout, and I'm going to be running it alongside a 68 anyway, so I don't care, and I'm going to be sound fitting it myself. I think it is a rip that you have to pay £50 extra for a DCC chip that you may or may not use, because you might want to sound fit it yourself, in order to have the servo inside for the pantograph. I think that's silly. I also think it shouldn't have taken Rails to approach Dapol and say, we want you to do this model. I think Dapol should have done this of their own accord. and done it as a general release, because I don't see why these wouldn't be as popular as the 68. The 68 sells like hotcakes because it's a really good model. This is a really good model by the looks of it so far. I don't see why it's not a general release. Let's have a quick look at the manual. Some info on the loco, very brief. Yeah, make sure you remove all the packaging. Operations on, DC and all that stuff. Stuff about the bits in the accessory pack, detail pack, same diff. Yeah, so your options for fitting the accessories, how to remove the body, which appears to just be 4 simple clips. So I might take a look inside and see what sort of provision we've got for a speakers maybe, hopefully. That's the sounds they've included, which I feel is also a letdown. Dapol haven't posted anything of any DCC project that they've worked on this. The sound things took forever to come out, which is why I was on the fence. Do I want a sound fitted one from the factory, or do I want to fit it myself? But yeah, they just took forever. But there is a full functions list in here, which I wish someone would have taken a photo of and posted. Dapol's factory sound isn't terrible. It's just if I want to run this in a consist with a 68, ideally I want decoders that are the same brand. My 68 has a Locksound 5, and Dapol have defaulted to using Zimo. I don't know, but there we are. So the model itself, good, really good amount of weight to it. I'd say this is on par, if not slightly heavier than the 68. The roof detailing is really nice, lots of fans and grills and stuff on there. It's surprisingly more detailed than the 68, which is making me think maybe that 40 quid extra in price is a bit better. Taking a look at the nameplates, the etched ones are fitted from the factory, and the one on this side is slightly pissed, and the one on this side is actually straight. Livery itself is very nicely applied. This is the Compass livery with actual Compass logos at the end. They've since changed their logo to be in line with the nuclear board's logo, because DRS is owned by them. It's silly really, but yeah, there we are. This is... I should have read the instructions on how to unclip the panto. I'm wondering if it's a similar situation to a Cura, where it's held in place and then you pull it out of a popped little socket or something. Let's read the instructions first, I think. I'm not sure if that's... No, that is meant to be that angle, I believe. But yeah, the pantograph detailing is really nice, even at this end with the exhausts, really nice. Underframe detail, fantastic. And of course these wheels with the brake discs, really cool looking, makes them stand out on a layout as well. And I was right about the detail end differences. So at this end, everything's fitted and a full skirt. And at this end, you've got sort of half ones fitted and a skirt with a hole in it for the tension lock to stick out of. Windscreen wipers are present, no driver fitted. Those windscreen wipers are really fine actually. Really nice printing on the headlights. You see that sort of red, I don't know, call it an eyeliner around the eyes. Trying to see which side it was. It was this side, wasn't it? Yeah. Hopefully I was about to say they haven't used too much glue. They definitely have, because there is, I can see slightly, just a splotch poking out from beneath the nameplate just there. I can see why they've fitted the nameplates already, but I really wish they had just included them separately. Now I'm going to test this because I don't know if the label is going to be correct, or if the product code is going to be correct, or if Rails have actually sent me what I ordered, because the DCC fitted versions of these were sold out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to flick it to DCC, and if it buzzes, we'll know if it's fitted or not. Yeah, okay. So it's not fitted, so they have sent me the correct one. Good. Which is making me question why the label on the box is wrong. I mean, they've had at least a year now, over a year since they announced this, so why would the label be put on wrong and then have to have a corrective sticker put over it? It's very strange. Anyway, you know what, I've slammed this down. Now I should have a look about the Panto. Should have a posable pantograph. It says here, authentic sound profile and collaboration from DRS, or whatever, cooperation from DRS. What? Be more transparent. Post a video of the sound file in use, and that would encourage so many people to buy it. That's why I held off. The other reason being, I have John JMC sound in my 68 and I want the same sound in my 88 because his sound profiles are really good. Rails could have possibly milked an extra £150 out of me if they had just been transparent and posted a video on their Facebook or their website or their YouTube even, but they didn't. So here we are. Blah 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 blah. That's annoying. Sound fitting. Solder pads on the board for your speaker. Why? Why? Install a max 39 by 20 by 8mm speaker. Now, what I'm interested in, and I might actually do it before I run this model now, I want to know, because the servo's not there, how much space is at this end now. Because if I can fit whatever there, I'm going to do the same as my 68. I want an Earth Mover 1 and a 25 by 25 by 7mm mega bass. So I'll tell you what, I'll make a hard cut here, and once I've got the body off, we'll be able to look inside. Okay, so now that the body's off, we can actually see what's going on inside. So here's your Plux 22 blanking plate. This is the area you're meant to put your speaker, so these brackets come off and then you can secure it underneath there, I guess. Best case scenario, just remove these. If you're using a fully enclosed speaker, use a little bit of black tack to hold it down at these edges. If I did have a metal rule on me, I'd measure them. I think there might be a meter one. It would be a bit cumbersome to measure, but still, I might measure that in a minute. And then your solder pads for the speaker are here, which are labelled SPA and SPB, which tells you sod all about which one is positive. Could it have had a plus or a minus? Yes. Could it have had B or N? Yes. A and B. So, sod knows. I'm guessing A. So even, look, capacitor has plus and minus on this side of the board. So why couldn't you? I don't get it. And then this end is where the servo assembly is meant to be for the pantograph, and you can see how it would have affixed to underneath, because there are 3 rather convenient screw holes there, and you can also see the pins there, which is the method for how the cab lighting is done. It touches these contact pads, which are also labelled plus minus on the board. Why couldn't we have labelled these plus and minus? I do not understand. But that confirms to me there is space for 2 speakers in here if you don't have a panto servo. And considering I'm going to be using this on diesel mode only, obviously, that is a plus for me. Right, let me see if I can find that ruler. Ah, there it is. I've already clocked it. This is going to be horribly cumbersome, and you're probably going to have a laugh watching me attempt to measure this with a meter long thing. So that space measures pretty close to 40, at a push 45 if you're going to try and muck about with the very thin wires there, which have a bit of slack on them, so you could work with that. In terms of thickness, we'll go between this bit and this bit, which is going to be 26 millimeters. I want to see if this actually measures up properly with Dapol's recommendation I read out earlier. Speaker installation. 39 by 20 by 8. Really, it wants to be the same height as the decoder is. So from about there, probably about closer to 10 mil thickness, really. And that's about 26, and that was about, what, 45? So I don't think you'd get away with an EM1. And in terms of this end, 40, 45. Total thickness is actually the width of the body this time. So you're looking at about 32, 33 mil. And in terms of thickness, it would be the same, about 10 mil. So you've got provision there for a 1 or 2 pretty decent sized speakers. It's just a little bit baffling why no servo on DC. It's a, what do you call it, a cost saving measure? Not really. It's already more expensive than the 68, which you can sort of tell by the amount of extra detailing parts and grills here and there, and fans. Just a bit odd. And now I'm wondering, that's okay, you wouldn't have noticed that unless you took the body off. This side of this grille, if I put my hand this side, you can see there is a hole right there looking into the body and out of the body. There you go, you can see the light shining through that at certain angles, which isn't noticeable when it's on because it's black underneath, but tolerance on that part isn't the best, maybe. Anyway, I should also say, 4 nice simple clips, well done Dapol, really easy to get the body off. And saying that, try and align the clips. He says. What the what? Sorry, I'm having a real brain fart moment. Is this the wrong way? What? No. Oh, I'm an idiot. No. Okay, don't worry. Jesus. Whew. Really concerned myself for my mental health just then. Wow. Right, is that sitting flush? No. There. A bit of a push. Oh, there's a pantograph there. There we go. Body's flush once again. Lovely. Alright, so the next thing to do is run this around the layout. Let's see how smooth and or noisy it is. Oh, come on. I did this first try earlier. Nope. Okay. There we go. Lovely. Right, so set of routes. Unisolated on DC, it's on the inner loop, so that is the right controller to have. Zoom out a bit and send it over our first trial set of points, which is going to be a double slip and a curved point. So send it the correct direction. Yep, no fault. So she runs plenty nicely. Bit of noise, but of course she's not running yet, so I'll be doing that next off camera. Lights are plenty bright. Handles the express points very nicely. Red lights in the rear. Yes. So, the model is now running. Off camera I did test this over the triple point and it had no issues. And while it was running around the layout, I did happen to look up on YouTube to see if there were any new Class 88 results. There are. Someone has uploaded finally the factory fitted sound, and I am happy to say I'm glad I didn't get factory fitted sound. I'm probably going to default to John JMC's once he releases it, of course, and go with a tablet speaker which is just about the size that Dapol recommends, and considering at the other end there isn't a servo for the Panto, I'll probably I did try and fit a smaller speaker with one of those speakers before in my 58, but it didn't work. I wonder if you could fit two of those in this. I think that'd be a bit much. I think the one would probably be enough. Anyway, as you can see, I've now given the 88 something to haul. This is a pair of FNAD nuclear flask wagons. These come as a pair. I happen to actually get these for free. I've purchased enough things through a Curoscale. I accumulated enough points in order to just get this pair of wagons for free. Of course I can't run this with my 68 because that's sound fitted and this is just DC. So let's get this going around the layouts, see a few shots with it, and then we'll go on to a bit of a conclusion. So let's give some power. So that's Dapol's new Class 88. It's a very well detailed model. Very nice livery application. All of the very fine grills all over it really catch your eye. And it's definitely more detailed than their 68. Does that justify it being about 40 quid more? No. Honestly, I think this should have been about 20 quid more, so we're talking about 180. Pushing on 200 is asking a hell of a lot, especially when these non-DCC fitted or sound fitted versions don't have a pantograph servo. Any issues? Slightly wonky nameplate on one side, which arguably I don't understand why they've been fitted from the factory, the etched nameplates. Printed ones would have been fine and include the etched ones like they've done in the past. That's what I did with my 68. They included the etched ones and you can just apply it yourself with maybe a little bit of glue, or preferably black tack or blue tack. Black tack I'd say is probably the best option there. In terms of the accessory pack, it's good the way they've done it. They've already detailed up one end and then the other end's fine for a tension lock. And then you've got that option of swapping out this end, this detailed end, with the sort of plough, I suppose you'd call it, with the slot in it, so you can fit a tension lock at that end as well. Really nice weight to it. Getting the body off is really easy as well. That's always been a plus for Dapol with their diesels and their electrics. Of course, this is technically both. So going rate on this model is £200. DCC fitted with a Panto servo is 250, and sound fitted with a Panto servo is 350. If you're sound fitting it yourself, it's probably going to end up being about 135, because you're going to have to buy a decent sized speaker and the chip itself. So yeah, the price is comparable on a sound fitted one. I don't think it should cost about £20 for a servo for your pantograph though. The livery on it is really nice. The LEDs are really nice. Slow speed running seems to be okay. I'll be perfectly honest, I haven't cleaned the track, so it's performed very well on dirty track, and all of the points it's handled really well as well. I don't think it should have taken Rails making this an exclusive and a product Dapol in order for Dapol to make this. I think Dapol should have been very on the ball and saying, look, we've done the 68, this thing is horribly similar, the chassis might need a bit of a rework and the body will need to be completely different, but they should have been on it. And they weren't. Am I glad this is finally in model form? Yes. I can understand maybe why Dapol held off. There's not as much livery variation. There's only 10 of these versus 30 odd of the 68. And yeah, livery variation just isn't much. It's either compass with the newer style logo, or the refrigerated rail livery on number 10. Would I recommend you get one of these? If you've got a 68, I mean, you're most of the way there anyway. If you're particularly fond of the 88s though, I'd say get just a DCC ready one. I don't think there's any point in having that motorized pantograph, servo pantograph. It's a new gimmick that's come onto the model market. We've seen it with Bachmann and Acura Scale, and you can kind of understand it if someone's got like a depot layout, and it's all overhead lines, and it looks cool, and yeah, wow, it's really fun. It's a real extra bit of depth to the model. It brings it alive. If you're in the same situation as me, there's no overhead lines, there's no point. And if you're just a modeler and you just want the model, oh, maybe I'll sound fit it later, yeah, just get a normal DCC ready one. And again, I'd like to point out that the thing on the end of the box is wrong. It's not DCC fitted, this model. I don't know why it says that. Maybe they just ran out of stickers and just went, that'll do. Slapped it on the box. But yeah, it really looks the part. It's very nicely detailed. The etched grills are fantastic. There's a really good provision in there for a decent sized speaker. And I am excited to run this with my 68. So in conclusion, if you're a big fan of the 88, I'd say it would be worth getting a DCC ready one. If you are thinking about a sound fitted one, maybe sound fit it yourself or send it away to get sound fitted by someone, maybe someone like Roads and Rails. One more point. These are like the brake discs on the outside of the wheel. One or two of these aren't correctly centered, so there's a bit of a visual wobble, if you see what I mean, as it's going along. They're not perfectly centered. I don't think that was an issue with my 68, so I don't know why that's suddenly an issue on this model. Just want to put that one out there. Anyway, the next video in the shed, I know what it will be. It will be the Acura Scale 31 in EWS livery. How do I know it will be that video this time? It's already in the post, so hopefully in a few days' time a video on that will come out. If you have any questions on the layout or this model, please do leave a comment. I'll try and respond the best I can. And until the next time we're in the shed, goodbye.